What's up, everybody? Look, it's time for another Average Mindset Monday. And listen to me, last week, I talked about you just have to let those things go, right? The financial things, the friends, the job that's not serving you, the situations that aren't serving you. But this week, I wanted to talk to you about just some things that and I want to give you steps on how to do it right, because the last video was just that's me. You just gotta let it go. You just gotta let that thing go, right? But I understand that some of you, and shout out to my friend JMO for actually giving me this idea. There are some people who just can't let it go, right? They just can't wake up one day and decide to let it go. So I have some things that I'm going to run down to you today because I want to give people steps on how to do it, right? And the first part goes back to the video that I just had, and that is to just let it go, right? Make a decision to move on from the past, right? Anything after this, I'm not dealing with it. Anything after whatever's happening, I'm not dealing with that. And that's the part that I want you to number one, right? Always remember that whatever I need to decide that today I am no longer dealing with this, right? And so then move on with it. Whatever happens from here, I am done with that. And so the second part I want to talk to you about is that after you decide to do it, you need to accept accountability for how you got there. Because here's the thing. You don't have financial problems just because financial problem blessings were given to you, right? And I know I just said financial problem blessings because it's not really a blessing. But whatever the thing was bestowed upon you, you just didn't wake up one day and just get there. You played a role in how you got to whatever financial habits you have. If you were in a job and you didn't like it and you get being treated bad and you went through years of being treated badly in this job, you have some responsibility in why you were still there. You also may have some responsibility, and I'm just talking to a few people I know right now. You have a responsibility for why you keep getting these particular things given to you, thrown at you, these abuse that's happened to you at your job. If it's your friends, I need you to take accountability on you allowing them to dump on you and take from you and drain you and take all this info from you, but you still trying to be a good friend for them. Like, those are the things I need you to learn how to take accountability, because guess what? All of that, we've been friends for years, or I've had this job for years, or I've just always been broke, man. That is your fault. And you have to accept that that's how we got here, but that's not the end all. But check this out, right? Because if you don't address that piece, you're only going to continue to replay whatever happened in the past. If you decide today, I am no longer going to be in a financial bind, and then you continue to live the life that you had when you were in a financial bind, you will always be there. If you get a job and every job to you is this toxic work environment and no one is great and no one pours into you and everybody's abusive to you and all this other stuff, you have to understand how you play a part into that. What are you not identifying about these companies that you didn't end up back into that toxic environment, right? The next part is I want you to admit like you were wrong. And it kind of goes back into the part that I just said, but I just want you to admit that you were wrong, because we're not all perfect. And that's the thing. It's not the end all be all. I'm not saying that you condemn yourself to hell for the rest of your life, because you are admitting that you made a mistake somewhere, and that's how you got into this situation. It's okay to admit that you keep going for the jobs where you know that the environment's toxic, that you keep trying to become friends with people that you know that are going to suck the energy out of you, that you know don't have your best interest in mind. It's okay to admit that. It's okay to admit that your spending habits doesn't allow you to be in a financial situation that you want to be in. It's okay to admit that you're afraid to go and get the job that will actually pay you enough money to have the life that you want. Because sometimes it's not your spending habits. Sometimes you're just scared to take the step to get to the life that you want to live. And that's okay. But the first part is you have to acknowledge it. Right? The next part I want you to think about is, how do I affirm when these negative thoughts come across, when the struggle starts to pull me down, when I start to identify I'm going back into that habit or situation. I want you to have affirming thoughts, because here's the thing. You cannot control what the world starts to throw at you, but you can control how you think through it. And a lot of times people are always saying, Corey, it sounds like your life is so wonderful. It sounds like everything just goes right for you. And that's a lie. Everything doesn't go right for me. I do have things that go wrong. But here's the thing. I just don't understand what benefit it's gonna have for me to talk about it a month from now, 2 months from now, a year from now, let it dampen my day when it took 5 minutes of my time. And maybe it was 5 minutes of in a bad period of the day, and you got some bad news, or a situation didn't want you to go the way that it wanted to go. I don't see the benefit of me harping on that. I don't see the benefit of me sticking there. But what I can say is that I'm strong, powerful. I'm mentally capable, right? I'm physically capable. My health is good, right? I can make good decisions. It doesn't matter where the world takes me, right? I'm going to be where I should belong because I know I put the effort forth. Right. So I want you to start to think about that. Every time these negative thoughts start to come through, I want you to affirm that you are better than that. You are always bigger than your worst situation. Every time. Right. And so here's the other part I want you to think about. Who is around you? So I talked to you about the friends and that could be draining you, but I really want you to delve deeply into who is around you. Is it just a bunch of people that like to party all the time, and then you're trying to grow up in your life and you're trying to elevate yourself to a certain status, and the only thing that these people want to do is party, and they're not really conducive to your growth? Or is it the only people in your life people who just complain all day and their jobs are the worst, and they can never get promoted and they can never get the next step to their life? Because that stuff's feeding into you. Are your friends the type of people that all of them have financial problems? All of them are broke. All of them can never get enough money. All of them can never buy trips. And it must be nice to be able to do these normal things that other people are readily doing. And I'm just saying, I've been there. I used to think $50,000 was a lot of money until I realized that $50,000 was just something that everybody else was making. But it was a big dream to me. But I had to level myself up in that particular time frame to understand that if this is normal to everyone else, they're not special. I'm also not special in the sense that I cannot attain these things. So I want you to think about who are you around and how are they pouring into you and uplifting you in everything, right? Because on the same tip is that everybody can be uplifting you. You can also have people who are dragging you down, and you wonder why you're not moving forward in life, and you wonder why your money's looking funny right now, and you wonder why you can't get the things that you want. Is because the people around you are not allowing you to do that. They're not speaking life into you. They may say some words, but the actions behind it are not conducive to your growth. And so here's the final piece, and y'all been rocking with me this whole time, right? I want you to think about subconsciously, when you interact with people, places, and things, how does it affect your life? Because there are a ton of people who look at situations and think about ways that it will affect them positively. And there are a ton of people who think about when an opportunity presents itself, what are all the negatives to it? Those people who always think negatively typically tend to be in the negative sections. They typically tend to never achieve anything. They typically tend to always be in shambles in their life. And I'm talking to somebody right here, right? Because that word happens a lot of times when I talk to different individuals and they're sitting here telling me why everything they can do can't come true. And I'll sit here and tell them everything that it could positively impact them, but they proceed to continue to tell me why it can't happen. And every barrier in front of them for why it can't happen. Meanwhile, I'm sitting over here saying, well, I mean, did we even get started? You didn't even get started in that. And you're talking to me about why it can't happen. Think about the books that you read. If you read at all, what are the things that you put in front of your face? If you don't read books, what type of shows do you watch? What types of things do you put inside of your brain every single day that subconsciously influence how you interact? Is it a bunch of foolishness that you look at every single day? I like funny memes too. I like sending videos to my friends that are funny and all this other stuff. But I also know I'm about the business too. Is life just a joke every single day and you don't take anything serious and everything is just woe is me? But I'm gonna run the social media and then I'll just get my fix there and laugh for the day. But I know I need to get some stuff done. Am I just gonna hang around my friends who don't have my best interest in mind, who push me to do incorrect things, who don't uplift me, who don't put me in the right position, who the minute I start to grow that they have a problem with me? Those are the people that you probably shouldn't be around. So think about that, right? As I wrap this video up, I want you to think about what are the things, and I just gave y'all 5 different topics on what you need to do to really just let that thing go and how to overcome it and how to move on to the next step. So y'all do me a favor. I want you to at least just take step 1, right? And make a decision to move forward with whatever the issue that you have in life. That's been your Average Mindset Monday. We'll see you next week.